So in Edmonton, Alberta, they are wanting to put in 4 safe injection sites, and the community has had a bit of a pushback against this. Now, the idea behind the safe injection site is that it's a place where addicts can go and they can inject, and they can have a safe needle, and they can have nurses on standby in case they need help, and that it's a way that it removes it from the street, that you're not having needles in playgrounds and in public bathrooms and back alleys and such, that there's no dangerous litter, and that it's a place where the addicts can be safer, and where it's a place where you can push them to get help a bit more if you're able to draw them to these locations. And 60% of addicts are people who are homeless or in an unstable home situation. So there's a lot of concern from the community there, because you're going to be inviting a lot of these people to hang around that area, and it's going to affect the area greatly in a negative way. I'll just give one example. Where I live, we have this kind of a similar situation where there's a place for homeless people to go to bed at night, and there's a couple places for them to eat, all in the same area. And when I went to a Denny's in the area for a date night, there was a homeless person who came in as we were getting our order taken, screamed for 2 minutes at the staff, and had to be shooed out. And that kind of affected my experience being there, and it affected me going back. I don't really like going back to the Denny's, because I know it's in that area of town and that they have that issue. And that's a real concern. And I also used to live in that area, and it used to be unwanted to have to be asked for change all the time by these people. And when you put services that help them there, they tend to cluster in that area, and people who are in the vicinity suffer because of that. So I can understand their concerns about that. Now, safe injection sites kind of have a different story than other type of charity things like providing food and shelter. And I think that's why there's such a push on the left, is because they found out, hey, this is a spot where the right gives a lot of resistance. And I think the reason why is because the difference is that you're kind of enabling the behavior, as opposed to having a tough love saying, no, you have to stop it. If you're going to get help, if you're going to get anything, you have to put down the drugs. And I think that is the reason why there is more of a pushback between safe injection sites, even though the arguments being used in the article are the same that could be used for any service that is helping any homeless people out there. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. I wouldn't, if it was up to me, I wouldn't put in a safe injection site. Part of that is because I don't believe it's the taxpayers' job to be charitable to our neighbors. I believe that historically churches have done a lot to help people, and that they can step up again if we got out of the way. That a lot of this charity would be kind of reactivated within the community to help people, and that I don't think it's a proper use of taxpayer money in order to be charitable to people. I think that I believe in a very limited role for government, and it doesn't extend to charity. But beyond that, I also think that if there's a private endeavor, that I'd be very wary about putting up in the middle of a populated area like that. That if I was going to have a safe injection site, I'd have it out in the county, where there could be a location where a facility where they can get a lot of help. And if I could control the funds for this operation, and say you still have to try to solve the problem, but solve it in your own way, I would have it in a rural location where it's away from people, where they are on site all the time, and can receive more help instead of being out on the streets for however many hours a day. That if they want help, they have to go there and they have to stay there, and that way that you're not hurting the rest of the community by being there, and you can still provide the help to these people. So that'd be my solution if I had to tackle this problem with taxpayer money. So if you agree with my opinion, put a like. If you have any better opinions about how to solve this problem without having all these negative side effects, please put a comment below. I'd like to hear about it, because I don't feel like I have a sufficient answer for this problem. And if you'd like to hear more thoughts, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.